Patrick Cook here. Well, thanks for joining me in the next session of our Mandelbulb 3D project-oriented application tutorial series. All right. In the previous session, I was going along, we were having a grand old time, and I got an error that popped up on the screen. At that point, I no longer trusted the application. That was that error occurred when I was attempting to save the file. All right, but then I did save the file. I think we're going to find out, and also I was able to push these out using the clipboard to save my properties just in case the file didn't work. Now, I promised you that there was 3 ways to recover your work. Let's take a look at the 3 ways. Now, the first thing I can do, since I did manage to save the file, I'm going to open up this 01, if you remember. All right, that was a save to an m3p that I did, and I wasn't fully confident that the software was working properly after that error message. Now, I'm going to try opening that, and I'm going to calculate it, and it appears, and let's get the navigator up. All right, and let's pull the parameters over, change the lighting a little bit. Okay, so it appears that the application did indeed save an m3p file okay. So I was fine there. So it worked out. So after the error, I did a file save, and it turns out that that file save worked out okay. I make a big deal of this because there's been times where the application became unstable, and I was able to do a save to a file, but the file was corrupted. Okay, so 3 ways of recovering your work. So I'm gonna stop the Mandelbulb. I'm gonna restart it again. The second way to recover your work, calculate. Okay, good. Was the save to clipboard, which I still have in my notepad here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight this whole thing, or I could do a Control A as in Apple. I'm going to do a Control C as in copy. And now I'm going to do a from keyboard, open from keyboard, clipboard, sorry. Calculate, and there we go. So I was able to recover my project by having a what would you call it, an emergency to clipboard and then from clipboard. So that's good. That's good. All right. A third way of being able to recover your work would be this. Now here I can safely dispose of that. Let's start the software up again. All right, let it settle in. Okay, good. Now I should be able to, I'm going to navigate out to where the application is installed. Okay, if you recall, it's right in here. All right, and then I'm going to go to history. All right, so here's, as you can see, now, all right, well, so what this is Mandelbulb will output the parameters on a periodic basis. All right, it saves as an m3p, just the parameters, no view. All right, and that might be able to get you restored again after a crash, or even you went astray on the design of your project. You want to see if you could back up and revert to an earlier time. You see here, I've been messing around with this Mandelbulb for a number of years, but let's get on down here to the 9/21, which is today's date. All right, I'm going to sort all of this by the date and the time. All right. So this one right here is an MP3 that the Mandelbulb 3D software had saved for me automagically. And I'm going to see if I can pull this historical save over. All right, drop it, let go of my mouse, calculate it. Okay, so that is not the one. All right, let's see if this is one. Good. Good. All right, open up my navigator, see if I'm okay. Good. So what we've found is that this one right here, this m3p file, which was automatically saved by Mandelbulb, and I don't know when it's saved. I don't know if it's when you open the app, you close the app, you perform some function, I don't know. But what I do know is that that has basically rescued us, this history. Now, you know, again, that history is in your installation folder right here, wherever you put it, on whatever drive and whatever you call that folder. It's in the history subfolder. All right, and then what I do is I go to the date. I sort by the date modified. Obviously, I'm in a Windows environment here. And then I will try to go for the latest one and work my way down until I find where I'm recovered. So there's 3 ways in order to recover your work. One is with the m3i or m3p files, if you are able to save them. There is also the to clipboard and from clipboard, which will get your properties out on the clipboard, and you can put them in Notepad and then back into the application, all right, to recover. It does not recover your view. And then there's the history. One of those 3 methods or techniques should be able to get you back up and running in short order. The ideal thing to do is to save to a file, an m3i or an m3p, frequently, or maybe frequently is a little bit too broad of a term. The way I like to do it is I'll save to an m3p, just the properties only, because I don't need the image saved. I don't need a 3.5 megabyte file. A 2K file will do just fine. So what I tend to do is I save the m3p to a file. When I have performed some work and I'm ready to do some additional work, kind of in between work phases, if you will. All right. All right. So that's good. So that's enough for this session. This session we talked about how to recover from well, in this case, an almost crash. Mandelbulb had become unstable with that error message. I didn't trust it anymore. I wanted out of that. I wanted out of that instance of the Mandelbulb 3D instance, but I didn't want to lose all my work. So, but this was a good opportunity to talk about some of the issues with the Mandelbulb 3D software. Now, let me just end this session by saying this. The Mandelbulb 3D software application is very, very good at what it does. It produces some remarkably high detail, high quality graphical graphics, and with the ability to animate. It is not crippled in any way by a manufacturer of the software trying to get all the money they can out of it. There is no subscriptions, and there is also infrequent updates. And the application does crash and does become unstable. That's almost the price that we need to pay for really capable software that is not in the tight control of a large commercial operation that's trying to get all the money they can with frequent updates and everything. In which case we would expect a much more stable software. But the Mandelbulb 3D application, in my opinion, is worth the hassles of an occasional crash or an occasional instability, and it is worth dealing with its idiosyncrasies. And it's worth that because in the end, you get some really, really good graphics and animation from it. Okay, so enough for now. Let's take a little breather, grab a cup of coffee, and I'll see you back here at the next session, and we'll try to continue our Mandelbulb 3D animation, moving along and talking about the Mandelbulb 3D software as we go. I'll see you then.